Well, good day, sisters and brothers. Father Jeremy Zipple here from St. Martin's with today's reflection on our synodal journey. I want to talk about listening. Have you ever had anybody in your life who was a great listener? Someone like that is a true gift. I'm thinking, for me, I would say my Aunt Annette. She was a nun, a religious sister. But she was also my aunt. And she was one of those people that I could just sit there and talk to for an hour or 2 hours. And she would just listen. And she would not be looking at her watch. And she would not be starting to fall asleep. I could pour my heart out to her. And it was like I had her undivided attention. It was like there was nothing else in the world that she would rather be doing at that moment than sitting there listening to me. And, she was a nun. She was a very strong Catholic. But when I talked to her, it wasn't like she was sitting there judging me or thinking about what I was saying and trying to offer me advice. You know how sometimes when you're talking to someone and or maybe someone is talking to you, and you start thinking in your head how you're going to respond to them. Maybe they say something that agitates you. And so you just start feeling irritated about that. And, as soon as they stop talking, I'm going to tell them why they're wrong. Or maybe they're telling you about a problem that they're having or some challenge. And you're already thinking, okay, well, if I were them, I would do X, Y, and Z. So you're already thinking about what you're going to do as soon as they finish talking, and you kind of lose the attention because you're thinking so much about that. But Aunt Annette did not do that. It was like what I was saying, she was just 100% present to it. That was a really beautiful thing. And sisters and brothers, I believe that is the way that God listens to us when we pray. When we take a moment out of our busy day and talk to him. It's like we're the most important thing in the world to him. Sure, God has bigger problems to worry about, what is going on in the Ukraine right now, for example. But when we talk to him, he just listens. And it is the most important thing in the world to him, us, his beloved son, his beloved daughter. And God doesn't listen superficially. God listens deeply. We don't have to ever hide anything from God or feel like there's something that we can't talk to God about because, this thing, God would just get mad at me if I brought it up. No way. God knows our hearts. And when he listens to what brings us joy, to what we're ashamed of, to what we need help with, like the best friend in the world, like the best listener in the world. It's really amazing when you think about it. The God of the entire vast cosmos, the almighty Lord of heaven and earth, listens to me. And God listens to his people. Think about the book of Exodus when the Israelites are enslaved in Egypt and they cry out and God hears their plea and he does something about it. He gets them out of the mess. Or think about Jesus. Before Jesus heals someone in the Gospels, he'll often say, "What do you want from me?" He wants to hear from that person. What's really going on? What do they really want? What is the deep desire in their heart before he responds? It's not like he's sitting there thinking of the answer, what he's going to do beforehand. No, he wants to know. So I dare say, sisters and brothers, that God is like my Aunt Annette, patiently listening to what's really going on in our hearts with us so that he can be with us where we need him to be, so that he can help us where we need him to help us. And if God listens like that to us, to little you, to little me, then I dare say we ought to try and do that for one another. And I think that's why Pope Francis uses these terms when he's talking about the synod, like the listening church, like the church that listens. We all know what the church that talks is, right? The church that says you need to do this and you can't do that. The priest standing up in the pulpit giving the lesson. We've had plenty of that throughout our lifetimes. In fact, right now, I'm a priest telling you what to do and what not to do. But I dare say the model of church that Pope Francis is inviting us to through this synodal journey is a church that just stops talking, that learns to shut up and just to listen to one another in the same way that God listens to us, with that full, undivided attention, suspending judgment, not thinking about, okay, well, I need to fix this person X, Y, and Z, or this person is wrong because of X, Y, and Z. No, before anything else, just sits there, looks them in the eye with love, and listens to what's going on in their heart, to what their great joys are, to what their great fears are, to what their great hopes are, to what their great passions are. To just listen to who that person is before us, and love them. So, if the church can do this as the way that God does with us, then we will move forward. Then we will have a new kind of church. So I want to leave you with 2 reflection questions to think about. First of all, do I talk to God trusting that he listens in this way, that he really listens, that I don't have to hide any parts of myself from him, because no matter what I say, it's not going to change a thing? And the second question to think about, how do I listen to others? Do I try to start judging immediately, thinking about where they're wrong? Do I start thinking about how I can fix them? Or do I just give them my undivided attention with love and listen to what's truly going on? So how do I do that with other people?